away.
This meeting is being
Um,
recorded.
My bad, y'all. I forgot to hit the button.
yeah,
But
those things will start going away, Trey, because you got to start embracing it. And when I talk to you, I'm talking to me because I'm always in my head about so many different things, bro. But like those are just some things that we need to do. So accept the height, the next level. Accept it now. Like there's no reason for you to wait for it to come. It's coming. Pac already said it. We all believe that. So now just accept that joint and be ready for the battles that comes along with it. And just know how to handle those battles before the battles come. Like I'm not gonna preach or nothing, Pac. Give me one more minute. But like,
no, go ahead, go ahead.
yo, I look at it like this, bro. It's like a test, bro. Like when you think about a test, right? Like my kids just had the state test that just came or whatever out here in New York, and basically, the teachers has been preparing them for this test for the past year. Now, when it's time for them to take this test, the teachers just sit back and now they just watch as they take the test and they're already saying they have the confidence that these kids is gonna pass because they poured into them for a whole year or whatever, right? That's the same thing with you. You've been prepared for this moment. So at this point in your life now, God is literally just sitting back like, yo, you ready for this? So now you got to be the kid. Take out that pencil. Don't be cheating. don't be trying to don't get in your head, right? You just got to be the one to be like, all right, you know what? Nah, God already. He's sitting back. He believe in me. Like, let's do it. You know what I mean? And I just look at things in that kind of perspective, when it comes to us. So the test, we are prepared. You are prepared for this test that you're about to encounter. Like he's already prepared you for it. All of these years of doing what you do, bro. Like you talk about over a decade. That's preparation. You know what I mean? So now you just kind of walking in it. The door already open. You just about to open that joint, walk in like, hey, I'm here. So yeah, that's it. No more preaching. I'm sorry.
For sure. Leader and my boy Scott was good.
What it do? What up, y'all? Morning.
Good, I'm good. Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge y'all before we go ahead and get started. So we're gonna do something a little tad bit different. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually share my screen. Ha.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Take us to school, Pat. Take us to school today. Let's go.
All right, so I got this document that I created. Let me see. Boom. Can everybody see it?
Yeah.
All right, bet. So what I did was I pretty much prepared like the talking materials today, kind of put it on a little slide so we can kind of talk about it. And as I'm reading, y'all can see what I'm reading if I'm fumbling over words.
Yeah. We can read with you. You can have one of us read if you want.
For sure, for sure. So yeah. So I just want to repurpose the actual purpose of the group, and for this is really just getting you on the journey, become the person that dominates, accomplishes, and elevates in every area of your life. So most of us, that are here, we definitely have some type of business venture. But what happens is, a lot of times we try to compartmentalize. You try to separate.
Good job. That's a good substitution.
We try to separate our business dealings and our personal dealings. But what really happens is it's all really the same thing. The more that you work on your personal stuff, and you're able to master who you are on like on a personal level, you'd be able to accomplish more on the business level because you develop a lot of those skills, a lot of those habits, and a lot of those different aspects of who you are to become that next person that you're striving to be. So that's pretty much the thing of what this mindset mastermind is going to be. And I'm do a quick little recap, right? So we was going over the book Freedom from Fears. Now I think this would be appropriate time to kind of dive in on kind of one of them and one of my experiences with them too. But some of the ones that we talked about was the seven ghosts of fear, right? We have the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of loss of liberty, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. And the question, we asked this question: which one do you struggle with the most? So I've been sitting back on this one for a while, and I kind of thought about it a little bit more. And I think for me, as I'm starting to learn a little bit more about each one of these, it's definitely like the fear of criticism for me. And as I was starting to think about it, it's more than just um, n- not necessarily not wanting to hear what people say. Because like I love feedback, but the reason why I love feedback so much is because I don't want to hear the bad feedback. If that makes sense. So I
Yeah.
try to improve as much as I can, so I don't have to hear like I fear making mistakes. Like that's the real underlying thing behind that, and that's something we're gonna talk about, right? So um, do a little recap again. You know, every human being has the ability to completely control his or her own mind. Um, to become the master of your fate and harness the immense power of your mind to create the life of your dreams, you must first understand yourself, who you are, recognizing which of the seven basic fears that you're most susceptible to. The goal is to attack our limiting beliefs and address and get past them, become the best person that does the activity that has the end result that we want to receive. So the whole concept by Myron Golden, where he talking about be do have, like that's my thing for the whole year. Like becoming, like how do we become the person that does this activity that has this end result that I want to receive. So that's pretty much what all of these different you know topics that we're gonna talk about is gonna surrounded by. So yeah, so we're gonna dive in a little bit more into this one right here, and then I'm also talk about something that I personally dealt with too, and we'll have a conversation with that. So, fear of criticism. When this fear becomes more developed, it diminishes one's creativity, it destroys one's ability to think of oneself, and it weakens one's initiative. I experienced this as I learned something new, or I sharpen my own skills to master a new level of mastery. I let myself get overwhelmed because I often feel the results of putting together an offer and I fear that it's not what they pay for. So, like for instance, I'm building my program, brand like an artist, BLA, and what I'm starting to realize is I see everybody else out there, they doing their thing, or the people that I'm, purchasing courses and stuff from, and I'm noticing like it's a lot of times where even though these people might have big platforms and stuff like that, um, once you get in the inside, like these programs is not necessarily what they say it is, and not even on top of that, um, it's a little discouraging because, like, let's say they want to do something else. I see a lot of times where people is kind of like having a bad experience where the the way that they kind of dissolve the program is like super like sloppy. So like I go on certain people's posts and I still see people like from months ago, from like a year ago, asking about updates from the program that they had bought. And that's some of the things that I kind of feel too. Like as I'm building this, how much do I want to do this in regards to like times per week, and do I have the infrastructure in order to um, do it in a way where it's going to be honorable. I'm able to deliver exactly what they paid for and exceed it. So that's some of the things when it comes to fear of criticism that I was kind of struggling with. And yeah, it's a lot of people out there that teach you how to make money, but a lot of times they don't explain to you how to. You still have to do the work to get results. So that's another thing too. Is a lot of people that be like, "Yo, I can show you how to get all these clients," but you still got to do the work. Like, like Q, real quick, can you hear me?
Yeah, I tell you, bro.
Yeah. So like, as you was building, your program and stuff like that, right? Tell me
Mhm.
about like your experience when like let's say your first few people that paid like a good amount. let's say the person that paid 7,000 or the 10,000 for your program.
Uh-huh.
How did it feel knowing that, like, okay, like I know how to get people to pay, but I still gotta like deliver, and I still gotta actually do the actual work afterwards. Do you feel like did you have a lot of guidance on how to figure that out on the back end?
No, no way.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I didn't. It's actually when I got my first like $5,000 client, I was actually more scared because I didn't know if I did enough work in the background to make sure that I can really deliver. So it was exciting, but it was scary at the same time.
Yeah, tell me about the experience. Like, how did it go? What were some of the things that you kind of struggle with, like internally? Like we talked about the imposter syndrome. We talked about, um,
The
just
biggest
being
the
prepared.
biggest question for me was, am I actually capable of doing this?
Hmm.
Like that was like one of the biggest things. It's like after I got the contract or whatever, I still had that doubt as if like, can I really do this thing? And then I started saying, I can't believe somebody just paid $5,000 for my program. They are bugging out because they don't even know me. but yeah, I mean, yo, it's like I was scared, bro. I was super scared, and like the process for me was like you know what it did? It kind of made me plan better. It kind of made me plan even harder too. Like it
Hmm.
made me like really go back, make sure that all my content, all the stuff that I was delivering to the schools, was really gonna be good. Even though half of that still didn't work once I got there. But that's a whole nother conversation. But
I mean,
yeah, I don't
but
know,
yeah,
bro.
that's the reality of it too. Like, it's a lot of times we don't even talk about that part either.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So I mean, for me, bro, once I got that, it was like it kind of showed me. You talk about becoming. It kind of
Hmm.
showed me that I even though I got the $5,000 contract, I still didn't become the person to get a $5,000 contract. If that makes sense. Like it kind of it,
It does.
it kind of showed me that there was more becoming that I needed to do within myself because I shouldn't had all of these doubts and insecurities and fears and anxiety and all of that. All of that stuff should not have happened. It should have been only for the most part celebration. But instead, and that goes back to survivor's guilt. Instead, it made me feel opposite than what I was supposed to feel, which means that I didn't do enough becoming beforehand in order for me to step into that role. If that
So
makes sense.
here's another question, follow-up question, right? Um, do you feel like in that process, in order to become that person, do you feel like you have to go through it first, or do you feel like it's like it's something that you just have to do simultaneously, or is something that you can do like to prepare yourself before you get in that moment?
I think everybody's different,
Okay.
but for me, I think I had to simultaneously do it because my thing was always actually getting it done and doing it. If I didn't do
Mhm.
it, then I wouldn't learn from it. So that was just me. I had to like kind of be thrown in the fire, and then if I get burnt, I get burnt. If I make it out, and I make it out. Like that's just was my mentality. But something that I would have wished, you talk about having guidance, I wish somebody could have taught me how to become first. Because if someone would have taught me how to become first, I think it would have been way easier. It would have took away so many issues, so many problems, so many things that I had, throughout the time. And that's why I believe that like having calls like this and stuff is important for us because like it's kind of like skipping a step a little bit. Like if
Mhm.
someone can teach us how to become and show us what does that look like for us, just becoming and having those qualities and those characteristics, I think it'll be easier for us to do the work.
No,
But
I agree, and I think a lot of that too is all of us in this group right now, like we're super talented at something, and we're probably super talented at a lot of different things. Like for instance, we got my boy Trey. He's like a triple threat almost. You got the sing, he could rap, he does comedy, like he's just an all around entertainer. My boy A, like not only can he rap, but he can also produce now. He's a really good engineer. Neither with the photography, and my boy Scott with DJing, and he's really an entertainer because he could dance too. Like he'll put on 2-3 songs, put that thing on cue, and he'll get out there in the crowd. He the only DJ that I know do that. But yeah, we are like we become so highly skilled at one thing that when as we're looking to expand and do more things, I think we kind of get intimidated because we start to have to learn a whole new skill from the ground zero again. And the expectation is because I'm good at these things already, I need to be just as good as this new thing that I'm learning, and I need to do it quickly. And that's kind of like what I want to address today. Let me see. So a lot of it is also the fear of learning too, because we don't know how to learn, or we don't have an approach of how to actually approach the I know I said it twice, um of how to actually address those particular feelings of learning how to become that person that does this particular thing, right? So I came to realize that we aren't actually taught how to learn the right way. And there's actually a framework of how we need to approach learning, and it's called the levels of learning. So I'm going to share with y'all um, this segment in this book by Myron Golden. It's called Boss Moves. And he kind of breaks down what the levels of learning are, right? So think of it as like the levels of learning as like this building right here, right? And you're in this building, and every single floor is a new level. But before you get to that next level, you have to master the one that you're on first. But here's the trick too. When you on this particular, like, let's say you're on level 1, nobody's telling you anything. You don't know anything about what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go. And let's say you don't even know what the concept of stairs are. You don't know what the concept of an elevator is either. So like you just in this building, and you just have to figure out how to get to the top, but you don't know what any of this how this building works. So you got different mechanics and stuff like that. So you actually have to learn exactly how to approach without knowing anything. So this concept is basically is going to show you how to as I make this analogy, get to that next level or that next floor from going to 1 or 2. So yeah, so we got the levels of learning. In order these are some of the notes that I took and from the book, and then we're gonna actually get into a couple concepts. So in order to elevate, you have to eliminate. Some of the things he talked about was eliminate conflict. It's often internal conflict, and it usually manifests itself as resistance. So my boy Trey, he was talking about some things that he was dealing with, and in order to elevate, you're gonna have to eliminate some of that conflict. So by scheduling that therapy appointment, that's going to help you eliminate some of that internal stuff that you got going on, and also come to class like this so you can actually get some of that reassurance as well. Um, and when it, normally, it manifests itself as resistance. So something that is keeping you or challenging you from actually overcoming that obstacle, right? So you resist the very thing that takes you to the next level. That's natural. So anything that you feel like you need to do and it's really hard to do, that is going to be the exact thing that you need to get to the next level. So that we have to approach it as such as well. It may be not the easiest thing, but approaching it head on as soon as possible, you'll be able to accomplish that obstacle a lot more quickly than kicking it down the road. And another tip or another tidbit, right? Overwhelm. Overwhelm is just a sign that often manifests itself as resistance or judgment. So when you're overwhelmed, it's because you either prejudge the activity that you're approaching or you have to do, or it's resistance. Like you feel like it's just too much to do for whatever reason. And these are some of the things that you'll have to eliminate in order to elevate, right? The next one is judgment could be You think the task is, oh yeah, you think the task or the thing is just too hard to do. A lot of times it's not as hard as we think it is. Sure, like it might be a little difficult, but like I remember the first time I remember the first time I was playing football and we put on pads, and I was kind of nervous about it a little bit because like I didn't know what to expect. So the first thing we did, when you put on pads, is you got to test them out. You're doing the hitting drill. So I'm going against one of the biggest people on the team, and I'm probably one of the smallest people on the team, even though like I was playing. But yeah, so we get down, and we doing the hamburger drill. The actual the coach, he blew the whistle. We both turn around, and then we hit. And the crazy thing was, I told you I'm the smallest one on the field, and he's the biggest one for the most part. And I actually ran him over because like I was like, oh wait, hold on, like it wasn't as bad as I thought, even though it hurt. But I think I can do this. I think this ain't too bad. So a lot of times, like we brace for impact before it comes, and more times than not, it's not as bad as we anticipating. And when it comes to being overwhelmed, when it comes to being um, struggling with the imposter syndrome or whatever the case may be. Like for instance, Q, one more time. When you had that first $5,000 client, like when you was approaching it and you was actually doing the material for, I guess I wouldn't say the first time because you had a lot of practice, but this is different now. Was it, when you got to the end, was it as bad as it was than you thought when you first approached it?
Nope. Nope. It wasn't, bro. It was like it wasn't that bad at all, bro. Honestly, it was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is it. Yeah. So
Yeah, so I feel like most of the time that's like I'm still, there's certain things that I haven't done yet that I definitely need to do, and I'm going through this too to a certain degree. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there as well. Um yeah, and truth is the only reason why you think it's too hard is because you haven't properly learned how to do them. So like for instance, the reason why something you think something is hard because you don't know how to do it. Basically, if you know how to do it, then it's not hard anymore. So that's the only part that we have to address. And that'll give us the confidence that we need to get to that next level. And I'll kind of go through some material on how to do that. And yeah, I'll skip that one. So yeah, so before we even talk about the actual levels of learning, we have to talk about what learning is. And let's actually think about learning as wisdom, right? Like we're going to redefine what learning is for this particular context, and we're going to, it's going to be a synonym for wisdom. So there's actually prerequisites of wisdom. So before you have wisdom, you have to be ignorant, which is the absence of truth. In order to know something, you have to not know it first. If that makes sense.
Mm.
The next step is the knowledge. This is the accumulation of truth. And this is when you start to, okay, I'm starting to learn about this thing a little bit. I'm starting to get information on what this thing is. So that's the second level of wisdom. It's the accumulation of truth. The third one is when you start to understand and start to comprehend and to start to click. That's the understanding. That's the assimilation of truth. And the last part is when you actually get the wisdom, is when you take all of that information, the understanding, the knowledge, and you start to actually apply it. That's how you develop wisdom in a particular area. So you know, you learn about the thing, you learn how to do the thing, and now you're doing the thing. That's the process of learning. The process of learning is not just I got information about something, or I know have knowledge about this particular area. It's also about learning how to execute and apply it as well. Like you don't really learn how to do something until you actually do it. Like you can read as many books, you can watch as many podcasts, but until you actually start to apply it, you haven't really learned the skill. And that's the context that we're going to think about it as well. So now that we got that under, we understand what is learning. Learning is wisdom. These are the steps to learning, right? So think about, we're going back to, this photo right here. We got the different levels of learning. This is where we actually developing how to master level 1 before we get to level 2, before we get to level 3. Because a lot of times this is what we do. We set artificial times, artificial deadlines, artificial um, time constraints in order to learn something or a skill. And what happens is we don't master level 1 before we get to level 2 sometimes. Sometimes we get to level 4, we get to level 5, and it's something that we didn't do in level 2, and something we didn't understand in level 1 because we didn't master it right. Now the whole building is crumbling because we didn't properly take the proper amount of time to learn master every single step before we get to the next one. It's okay to have a goal to get somewhere by a certain time. But let's say, like, for instance, I had a goal and I was talking to Q about it. That before I want to, launch the group coaching aspect of it, I wanted to get 10 one-on-ones, paid one-on-one clients. And he was telling me, bro, like, you might not even need 10, bro. Like, you might just get a couple and decide you want to do it. And I'm starting to get to the point now where, especially with my schedule, and I'm kind of glad that I started this new position, is because it's going to force me to be more efficient with my time, with the time that I have now. So I may be looking to get into the group coaching even sooner now because I only have a limited amount of time to work. I only have a limited amount of time to do certain things. And it might be easier if I just go ahead and build this system together where I can do the group coaching. So, like, even if it took me longer, because with my goals that I have for this year too, I'm not exactly where I want it to be financially at this point, but I'm still learning. I'm still mastering level 1. So, yeah, we're gonna talk about the steps of learning. The first step of learning is the unconscious incompetent. And this is coming straight from the book from Boston Rules. Forget what page it is, but it's definitely in there. It's the unconscious incompetent, meaning that you don't know what you don't know. So, hey, real quick, you there? Yo, hey, is Ace there?
Yo.
Yeah. So, with the new job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, how's that experience been in regards to learning exactly what you got to do over there, the way
Um,
that they do?
it's been kind of wild because I mean everything is kind of moving fast,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like in a sense I was kind of thrown out there, which is
Mm-hmm.
cool, but it's like just so much to learn from little things, just even like order of operations, how to like what should be done first, like for example, we do a thing called strike where we pretty much um take down all the equipment after a show and all that. And just even from learning what to do first, like they're like, nah, you gotta do this first. And then it's like, but you gotta lift this like that. It's just like very like little things that you have to learn real quick. And like, yeah, it's been a process. I've just been a sponge, just soaking the knowledge and um even like dealing with like pre-show setups and
Mm-hmm.
talking with a lot of the engineers who's been here for like 5-10 years, and just learning the ropes of everything. Is just, yeah, I feel like I've just been tossed around, but at the same time it's like yeah, it's like you're taking a lot of bumps on the way, but you know, it definitely helped me for where I'm going to.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel good.
And I know sometimes when you're in that particular situation, especially like as a new person, it can be a little intimidating because you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's you're literally going through this process as I am as well. I'm pretty sure everybody is to a certain degree, but this is literally the very first step of you learning how to learn. So this is you're on at your job right now. You're on level 1 right here where it says the unconscious incompetent, where you don't know what you don't know, and that's the first step of learning. Like you have to be ignorant. You have to not know in order to learn. So um that by you knowing that, get into the next step can be a little bit more intentional, which is the conscious incompetent, which is you know what you don't know. So now it's like, oh, okay, I've been sitting here at this job now. I know for conference calls, this is supposed to happen. I may not know how to do it yet, or putting together this, something for a live event. I know it should look like this. I'm not sure how to do it yet, or even with me, like at a guitar center, like I'm running the lessons program. I know that it's supposed to be a little bit more thorough in regards to what's going on now, in regards to having files for all of the different students, um, tracking, the instructors, like seeing what they're teaching and how things are going. Like I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna do that yet, but I do know that that's something that I don't know. So that's just the process of learning. And after you know what you don't know, then the next level is the unconscious competent, meaning that you're doing what works, but you don't know why it works yet. So, like for instance, uh, uh, I'm pretty sure, Scott, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that it was a point where like when you was DJing, right? Where you knew how to do something, but somebody would ask you how'd you do that transition, or how you have you ever been in that a situation where you couldn't quite like explain exactly what you did?
Man, 100%. 100%. Like, how'd you just like, hey, even like I don't ask other DJs, hey, how you just did that? And they be, 5 years ahead of me. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just push this button and it do it.
But when you push the button, it don't do what it.
Yeah, my button don't do that. Now I gotta figure it out.
Right. So yeah, that's the unconscious confident, meaning that like you know how to do something, but you don't know it quite yet. You don't know why it works. You just know like I just I just press this button when it gets to this particular time. It doesn't always work. I don't know how to explain how this particular mechanism works, but you know how to do it. You just don't know how to teach it. You don't know why it works. So that's the process of learning too. And as you're starting to like recognize these particular patterns and everything that you guys are doing, you're like, oh, okay, like I understand what level of learning that I'm at. Like I'm doing it and it's working, but I don't know why it works yet. So now I need to figure out why it works, which is the last part. And it's the conscious competent, meaning you're doing what works and you know why it works, so you can do it again. So this is the part where after you get this is the part of mastery. So now when you get to that level, now you have mastered that skill. You can teach it. You can put systems around it. You can make sure that, like for instance, even Trey, with all of the shows that you've done up to this point, I'm pretty sure you got to a point where sure there's gonna be more things to learning how to put on the show that you know you're gonna have to learn, but when it comes to actually throwing an event, you know how to have the same type of show every single time, right? Trey, you there? Hello?
Yo,
Yeah, you there?
it looked like Trey dropped off.
Oh, okay. I can't see because I'm on full screen. So
Gotcha.
yeah. So yeah, even with Nita, I don't know if she in here too, but every time you have a shoot, like I'm pretty sure like you got to a point where every shoot almost runs the same. Sure, it might have variables of what's going on today, but the framework stays the same, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the part of when you get to that particular level is the mastery part. So that's by us understanding how to approach learning, it can allow us to
Jacob
not
gave them as well. To do better
be
than
so. Hold on, real quick.
Jacob was an ancestor,
My bad,
Yeah,
Pat.
Oh, you good, you good. It allows us to approach, like things like the fear of criticism or the fear of like trying to learn something new, and how intimidating and how that can make us overwhelmed and stuff like that. So once you understand this particular concept, then we'll be able to go back to this photo right here, and it's like, okay, like I'm on level 1. I'm not quite sure on what I'm supposed to be doing. I just know level 2 is supposed to be around here somewhere. I don't know how to. What is this little room right here? You walk into this little room, you don't know it's an elevator because it's like a little room and then the door closes. It's like, what I'm supposed to do in here? Okay, this is kind of scary. I don't know where this is going. Let me get out.
I'm not comfortable here yet. You know what I'm
You know what
saying?
I'm saying? Even though that's the thing that's going to take you to the next level. That's that resistance that we talked about. That's that overwhelming that we talked about. Like that's the very thing that's going to get you to the next level. But sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So yeah, once you get to that point, it was like, okay, I don't went around this building about 10 times now. I know where everything is at. I know like this is the only door that I haven't really explored because I done went through every single room, and I know I'm supposed to get to level 2. I don't know where it's at. Maybe if I try this room, let's try this little room again. So you go into the elevator, you press 2, and you open, and the door opens again. It's like, yo, this is a whole new spot. This must be level 2. Congratulations. Now you have to go through that whole process again.
Yep. But now you're a little bit more experienced. You know exactly what you got to do as far as like learning. But I'm here to learn.
And not only that, but it gives you a foundation to build upon of.
And it's gonna give you a hunger to get to the next level too.
Yep.
Absolutely. Do I have something else? Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much the slides that I got today. But yeah, like I really wanted to. I thought that was as I'm reading. This is a really good book. This is the book right here.
Boss moves.
By Myron Golden.
That boy's be reading, boy. I got to get back to my books.
Yeah, like that's another thing too. Like as I'm looking to get to that next level myself, I know it's a lot of things that I don't know. There's a lot of things that I don't know that I don't know. So I'm trying to figure those things out. So in between this book, Freedom from Your Fears is definitely a couple of the books that I've been reading lately. And yeah, as I've been learning these concepts, I definitely wanted to share them with y'all because I definitely think they'll help. So yeah, what y'all think about the concept of the 4 levels of learning?
Yeah, I think it's dope. I've been studying and reading a lot of watching a lot of Myron Golden. He broke that down, and I really love it a lot. It really helps us to unthink, unlearn, and then relearn the things that we actually supposed to learn. You know what I mean? And I just want to say, Ace, you looking real good in your little office, bro. You looking like you somebody. That's what I'm talking about.
You know.
That look sleep, boy. Wake your ass up.
Nah, I'm good now. Now before this call, I was dozing off. I ain't gonna hold you. But
so you know,
Yeah,
face.
that boy shining too. I see it. I need to shave too today. So.
Yeah, you ain't got no baby oil.
I need to shave. It just look like that right now because I got some grease in my head.
You got to keep it moisturized. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you still gotta put grease if you don't have no hair? It's a real question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If anything, you got to put more.
And all sorts of stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you can't be walking around with
Direct sunlight.
Yeah.
So you can have
direct
an ashy bald head.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got
Yeah.
hair, guys. So I got hair, so I don't, you know.
Yeah, no, it can hurt too.
Like a mug.
You gotta keep that thing moisturized. But yeah, no, that's pretty much the material for today that I wanted to share with y'all. And yeah, like as I'm going through the process as well, yeah, I thought that was super dope. We even got some more stuff in this book that I'm gonna tap into as well. And I'll let y'all know what I'm reading or information. Like sometimes it might even just be a podcast or something like that too. So I'm gonna definitely add video clips, and then we could do like a react segment too. But other than that, I don't want to hold y'all too much longer because I definitely got to get ready for work too myself. So
Gotcha.
We out here.
It's cool to see all y'all, man, and hear from all y'all. I'm glad I hopped on, bro.
Nah, absolutely, bro.
Yeah,
like,
I'm a little different than mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But yeah. What you think, Nita? Did this help at all, or was this something good?
Yeah, it definitely was helpful. Learning the stages of learning and whether you're conscious competent and all those sorts of things. Like I didn't know that those were terms for it. So I definitely appreciate the insight.
Yeah, what I do is it's a Canva link. So I'll just add the link in the group chat. And then y'all can refer to it whenever y'all need to.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds
But
good.
other than that, we pretty much, I don't want to hold y'all too long. I wanted to keep it in that hour.
Gotcha. All right, then. Well, shit. Yeah, next week.
Absolutely.
What's next week? You know yet? I'm excited.
I'll let y'all know what next week is. It's just depending on how I'm feeling. Like I had a game plan, but things kind of change just based off of what I think would be useful. So I'll let y'all know.
Pac, I just want to say, bro, you did it, though. This was great, bro. Keep this. I like the slides. It kept everybody engaged, I feel like, and then we was able to read. It was perfect, bro. It was perfect. So you're doing a great job.
Ain't going over on time, nothing. Everything is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I appreciate y'all hopping on, and y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Make sure y'all set some time aside to spend time with family, spend time with yourself, relax, wind down a little bit, because I know everybody on this call work hard. So
to get to work.
That's time for y'all too.
All right, man.
Bro,
All right, be safe, everybody.
All right, y'all.